DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. PK, big trade in the NBA.
Huge, man.
Desmond Bane, Memphis, sends a guy who scores 20 points a night, a guy who shoots 41% from three,
Short
a guy
arms,
who's
though.
signed for the next 4 years.
Yeah, but his arms aren't going to get any bigger in the next 4 years.
Yeah.
I mean, such a big deal about that coming out of, I think it was TCU, wasn't it?
Well, a lot of teams. A lot of teams passed on him that wish they hadn't passed on him.
Yeah, end of the first round. The odds are out now because Memphis is going to do something. This is just the start. You don't just do this and then
doesn't make any sense
take
to trade
Cole Anthony and Pope and go on.
No.
Yeah, so odds are out. The Jazz, they've got odds on them acquiring Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. Guess what the odds are on JJJ? He's a very good player if he can stay healthy.
I would say 25-1.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
That's a shot in the dark.
Literally.
I got lucky.
Nails it. Now, how about Ja Morant?
Longer there. That's risky for multiple reasons. I'm going to say 100-1.
16-1.
Ooh, so they think it's actually a better chance they go get Ja Morant.
Yes, if you want to bet on that. I just called my bookie right now. We're on a break.
There's on-court and off-court issues there.
That's sportsbetting.ag.
Everything comes down to the price, right?
Of course.
You take the risk, you know.
Miami's 3-1 is the favorite.
Right.
And then a bunch of teams.
Miami's the favorite for Ja?
Ja, yeah.
Okay. And then who else but beyond 3-1?
Brooklyn 4-1, Sacramento 5-1, and Ja Morant said one thing about that trade. He's already been quoted about going to Sacramento. You know what he said?
You're going to make this up. What?
No Kings.
I knew you had a line. I just didn't know what it was.
Rockets 6-1, Hornets 9-1, and then starts.
So the Jazz are actually well up the track.
Bunch of teams they're about middle.
So what about Jaren Jackson then at 25-1?
Jaren Jackson, Lakers 3-1, Pistons 4-1, Philly 9-2, Warriors 7-1.
So again, the Jazz are well up the track. Not really expecting.
Again, well, yeah, they're towards the bottom on the. So
it's really interesting. Like, Austin Ainge brings a different perspective than Danny, but how different? And like right now, he hasn't really shown any of his cards, so it's hard to know.
We'll see his cards soon enough.
I agree, and I can't wait. But I agree with you. I agree with you on that. Right now, I don't have a real feel for if he's thinking, "Hey, let's build this out. It's going to take 3 or 4 years," or "Hey, let's get aggressive and get somebody and speed this along." You know?
Oh, I think both. Speed it along, but the idea of being a contender, it's what I've been saying all along. You can't just sneeze at, say, forget that. This won't make us a title contender. You got to walk before you go sprinting down the court. So they've got to get way more competitive. The room to grow just to get to 40 wins is enormous. Yes, it is.
I think they can get to 40 pretty quickly. The thing is getting to 40 and still having room to grow to get to 45, 50,
Who's played
55.
on a 40-win team on his team? Nobody.
I think it was already a 30.
Maybe Collins.
I think it was probably. It was a 30-win team.
Yeah, but you're just
I think
I can
they
dismiss
dumped
that.
a lot of games.
Sure.
Well, you go ahead and dismiss it, but I believe they dumped a lot of games.
But that's just opinion. Well, that's not what I'm dismissing. You're assigning a win total that is impossible to quantify. It's not impossible to quantify that they dumped a lot of games. That didn't mean they were going to win those games. You're assigning wins that they didn't earn.
I agree.
Right. So
I agree.
That's just pie in the sky. I could say, hell no, they're a 25-win team just as easily.
I think the more dismissive thing to say is, yeah, you're right, they can get to 40, but what do you get for that? The real prize is getting well beyond that.
But you've got to get to 40 before you get to 50. They're not going to go from 30 to 50. Maybe they can. That would be awesome. I hope they can.
I wouldn't think so, but that kind of stuff. Well, first off, they're not. Well, I mean, I guess we could agree they're at 30, but they're not at 30. The fact is they're not the only team to have dumped games on purpose, and those teams don't usually improve by 35 wins overnight and end up on 52 wins. So that's just not – that's probably not in the cards.
So let's see about a way to start getting in playoff contention. I want, as soon as possible, what Quinn Snyder's group did and getting to the 500 mark, then go. And then they win one playoff series, lit this town on fire. One playoff series win. Let's get that.
It was because there was one and there was a thought that there would be more. Now, there didn't turn out to be more, but there was a thought there'd be a conference final.
Sure.
And to me, that's more reasonable and more doable. You know, a championship, a super team can get in your way, and you can't control some stuff. And the Jazz have certainly Jazz fans, the ones who've been here a long time, have seen and felt that over time. And some stacked team gets in your way. But you can get to a conference final.
That's very rare that a stacked team got in their way. More often than not, they lost when they had equal chances to win.
Well, I mean, I think the D. Will Okur group, a stacked team, got in their way. That was the last time they were there.
I would say the Warriors, actually, with Hayward and the other guys.
Okay, that's a good point. Yeah, the Warriors in the second round, that was a stacked team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you go way back, certainly, you know, they had a 10-point lead in Game 5 at home, win the dang game.
Right.
Just win the thing. Come on.
Right. Their championship was lost in 94 and 95. It wasn't lost in 97 and 98.
Yeah, 94 they were really outclassed. 95, though, they got beat. They lost it. They coulda, woulda, shoulda. But anyway, it's all a long way in the rearview mirror. So now they got to get better, but they got to get better, and as they get better, there has to be hope that there's more levels beyond this.
Then give yourself hope.
Yep.
Get it done.
I know, right?
It's not some cosmic thing here.
What's that trade going to be?
I think it's going to be a series. It's going to be a series of trades, draft picks, and internal development. That's how they're going to get it done. That is Double A's charge, and that's what he's working on all day.
Many moves away.
Yes, but they have many options to make moves.
Mm-hmm. I wonder what the price tag is for Jaren Jackson.
Well, I mean, it's been set. You're not going to get less.
It's going to be 4? It's going to be the Desmond Bane price tag?
Well, it doesn't have to be literal. That's what I said earlier. It's the quality has to match. You may get 3, but get better players than Pope and Anthony. So how does that work? Or maybe you get a team that isn't as good and they don't give you as many picks, but your chances of moving up in the draft when those picks come are better than what they perceive Orlando's to be.
Or it's not picks, it's players.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, it's
more the quality of the package.
If it's Jackson for Markkanen, then which player 3 years from now is much better and which player is the same, or which player is playing 50 games?
That's the last thing Markkanen needs to go to another crappy team and sit the bench. The guy's been in the league forever, and he gets the earliest vacation time. He's a part-time player in that way. Come on, man.
So that establishes his price, so maybe they get him for less.
Who gets him
that's
for
what
less?
Whoever's trying to acquire him. He's a part-time player. That's all you get for him. Can they?
Well, that's up for Double A to sell it differently.
I know.
Heck no. He's the critical piece you need, you fool. I'm helping you out, and you don't want to take my help? What's wrong with you?
He's an all-star. We sat him. He could have played.
Yeah, I mean, that's an easy sell. So they have these opportunities here, unlike anything that they've had, and they've got to get it going. You don't tell me are you going to tank? We won't do that, or you won't see that, and then just go ahead and lose another 55 games.
That could happen.
Anything could happen.
Yeah, 27 and 55. I mean, I said they were a 30-win team. That's not that far away. You don't know if you're going
to – It's time for guys – when you're in your third year in the league, it's time for you to go. Okay, we're done babying here and playing these psychological games. Either you can play or you can't. And if you can't, move along, because now I don't want to invest in somebody contract-wise if I'm not sure George has what it takes.
100% on that. 100% on that. And that's just got to be such a refreshing message for Will Hardy.
Yeah.
I mean, he sat in front of the cameras and the microphone after the game and went out there and tried to be upbeat and say the right things. But you could just tell the last 20 games or so, it's like this is just getting so old.
All these people say he's a great coach. They extend it. I'd like to actually see it manifest in the win-loss record. Quit telling me how great he is. I don't have to be told if I can see it myself. I want to see it. Don't tell me about it. I'm tired of being told how great of a coach he is. And maybe he's the best coach they've ever had. Great. But let's start to see some of it.
We've had, let's see, he's been here 3 seasons.
And it's nothing against him that we haven't seen.
No, I think he's been.
I'm not criticizing him.
I think he's been allowed to go for it for half of the first season, half of the second season, and those went reasonably well.
Fine.
And then it was always foot off the gas. Let's see an entire season, cut loose, let it rip, and whatever happens.
But once he gets, and hopefully he gets to that point when they're winning 50-plus regularly,
and then
they won't have a press release and they won't tell us, we really believe. No, they didn't say. Well, every time Jerry Sloan came back, hey, we really believe in him. No, it spoke for itself. We didn't have to keep hearing about it. Hearing about it does nothing for me. The only thing that I want you to hear is us on the radio. That's it. The other stuff, I want you to see how good they are. And so you don't have to keep telling us, and you don't have to keep there's no quit in these guys. They really tried hard. Okay, by about Christmas, I'm done with that. I'll take that the first few weeks because I'm in a good mood because we got college football. But once college football ends, and we focus most on the Jazz, and now we got hockey, thank goodness, I don't want to keep hearing, man, they really tried hard. Great. I tried hard, too. And in 1 year, they make what I'm going to make my whole life. And I tried just as hard. Good for them. You tried hard. Way to go. How many more times do I got to pat you on the back for trying hard?
3, 4, maybe
I want to
5.
pat you on the back for winning. And Austin Ainge has an exact attitude. He's sitting right now driving to work saying, "You go, PK. Yeah, more of that."
I don't think he's driving to work this late.
I didn't mean he was driving to work the first time. He's now going out and doing something else. He's been working since 5 a.m. What are you talking about? He's going out for a break right now.
Okay, now you're talking.
Cappuccino. Don't you have lattes?
It's old school. You're back in middle school.
I've never had a latte.
It's nutrition break now?
Yeah, and that's a new thing, man. Get with it.
I know.
Don't be listen to you, man. Just because your kids go to private schools, you don't have to just wee-wee on public education.
The UC Santa Barbara grad is going to wee-wee on public education?
Yes, you just did by making fun of nutrition breaks.
That doesn't have anything to do with public
Paycheck is why I live in Utah.
You send your kids to private school. Good
you
for you.
You saved the school $600,000?
$600,000.
Wow.
Rest of us got to go to public school, and I'm dang proud of it.
You're the one who went to private school. I went to public school.
I went to private school because I was a troubled kid.
Nice pivot. That was good. He's over here busting me for being a private school kid. I went to public school K through 12.
And they kicked me out.
And you went to private school.
Because that were the only ones who would take me.
Okay, now you're talking.
How have you built this bogus image of being the guy next door?
Very carefully.
I know. You. I'm telling you, man. I'm bringing you truth. And I believe Jazz fans want to hear truth. They want to see it. They don't want to be told about it.
They want to be on the business end of the Desmond Bain trade. That's an exciting trade.
Okay, and I think they have the opportunity
And I can see in Orlando
that.
right now, not that we care a lot because they're in the Eastern Conference, but they got Paulo Banchero. You put Bain next to him, who's a proven thing. They have several other young guys.
Franz Wagner. It's spelled Wagner, but I'm supposed to pronounce it Wagner? What is that?
The East is looking wide open. Hey, look what Indiana's doing. We could do that in the next year or two.
Orlando is a good example of what the Jazz should do, because Orlando's had a ton of first-round picks in recent years. It's go time for Orlando, right? Obviously.
Yes. The difference is they had a number 1 pick and got a guy who looks like a pretty good player.
You got me there. Yes.
To what degree,
no
we'll see. But not all the really good players go number 1, as we're seeing in the finals this year and as we've seen in the finals in previous years. So find somebody along the way, whether that's trading for somebody who's undervalued or finding somebody who's undervalued in the draft, whatever.
And not all number 1 picks are created equal either.
Absolutely not. And they I don't know that they got a great one, but I think they got a good one, and time will tell.
Possibility of getting there,
Possibility of maybe he'll be a great one in the long run. Yeah, we'll see. He's still got a ways to go. Chapters to write.
Well,
and playing alongside Bain, this could be a nice step forward. And Jazz
with
fans,
the Celtics being down, presumably with Jason Tatum's injury,
it looks like the door is open.
Yeah.
The door is open.
Right.
If the Pacers have done it, there've got to be a handful of teams saying, "Why not us?" They got to say that in Cleveland. They're saying it in New York, and now they're saying it.
I
in
thought
Orlando.
they could get more for Bain, but nevertheless, I did.
Oh, okay.
No. Well, excuse me. Let me back up. I thought that if Orlando is making that trade, they would get a player better than Bain, is what I mean. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. Yes.
That's where I went with. That's where
I think the thing,
but this is what they made, so be it.
He's a really good player, but
he's a secondary guy.
He is. He's the second or third best guy.
Yeah. And
were they going to go out and get the best guy and make Banchero be?
But maybe they feel he's like their Hornacek.
Maybe he is. DJ and PK, it's 97.5, The Zone. We are out here at Thanksgiving Point this morning. Kids on the Move. KOTM.org. If I've learned nothing else this morning, Ryan, I have learned that.
Good job.
So you've talked a lot about autism, and it feels like that's a core constituency for this group. And parents who are working with kids who are somewhere on the spectrum and maybe just trying to figure it out early on. You're definitely working with them, but it does seem like maybe you're working with other groups as well, other kids. What exactly is the range of kids you're trying to partner with and help here?
Yeah, that's a great question, and thank you for allowing me to clarify that because, yes, autism is a big part of what we do. One of our programs is that, but we have many other programs that help children with any type of delay or disability. We have amazing physical therapists, speech therapists, occupational therapists, nurses, all that are helping out in a lot of different ways. Some of our programs focus on children age 0 to 3. Our autism goes from birth all the way up to through high school, but a lot of our programs, not only do we help children with disabilities, but we've got an early Head Start program that helps those families that are below the poverty line that need some help to get a jump start, and we've got some classrooms at our facility that allows their children age 0 to 3 to come into our space so that the parents can work and get a job. And so, yeah, it's an amazing stuff that we do at Kids on the Move, and so our therapists, our specialists can really help with any child that has any kind of delay. We've been around for 40 years, so we've seen quite a bit, and so we're excited to help in any way we can these kids.
You got a lot of celebrities out here. You got Kalani Sitake. Thank you, PK.
I thought you were talking about PK, but
I was. How do you connect with people like this? Do people find you because of what's going on in their lives, or in the lives of their loved ones, or in their friend circle?
It's a good question. We connect in a lot of different ways. A lot of people have a special place in their heart for these children with disabilities. It's also the connections and things that I have and other people with inside the organization. Kalani, we've known for quite a long time. My son plays college football and was at Utah for a while, and he's somewhere else now. But so I'm connected in a lot of ways there, and we just love any support we can. And you guys being here really helps us out a lot too. When I was on Hans and Scotty earlier this last month, or I can't remember when it was sometime in the last few weeks, that was a great help for us too. You guys do an amazing job and have a good network of people, so that helps.
And so for people who want to know more, for parents who are thinking, hey, maybe we have an issue, maybe we need some help, where do they go? What do they do?
It's really simple. They can go to KOTM.org, which you know that very well now. And that there they'll be able to get all the information that they need to and contact us. We're here to help out, and so I encourage people, whether you have a child that has a delay, go to that website kotm.org and you can contact us there. If you've got a soft spot in your heart to help these children, which they really need the help, go to kotm.org/donate and you can donate. Everything that we receive goes directly to these children and helping these children out, because that's what it's about.
All right. Well, thanks for a few minutes. Thanks for having us out here, and KOTM.org for people wanting to know more. DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone.
Accessing.
This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G.
Eric Weddle, kind enough to join us. You find out you're up for the College Football Hall of Fame. What's your first thought when you get that phone call?
Just humbled by it all, quite honestly. I think I have a real shot at the College Football Hall of Fame. I don't think I have any shot at the NFL Hall of Fame. So when I look at the College Football Hall of Fame, I think, I belong there at some point, whether it's now or 10 years from now. I think I belong as one of the best college football players to have played the game. So whenever it happens, or if it happens, you guys know me, I live life to the fullest. It's not going to change whether I fall asleep at 10 o'clock or midnight. I got many other things that are on my mind. But it's really humbling and truly honored, obviously, and know that it took coaches, players, faculty, family, wife, kids. It doesn't happen alone.
Catch Hans and Scotty weekdays from noon to 3 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ and PK, 9 a.m. Slacker Radio Headlines, brought to you by Trajan Wealth. Call Trajan Wealth today, your local trusted financial fiduciary, 801-899-7600, or visit the website at TrajanWealth.com. Game 5 tonight, PK. Thunder. Pacers. Will the Pacers shock us and retake the lead in this series? They won Game 1 to go up. They won Game 3 to go up. Are they going to win Game 5 and go up? Or will the Thunder finally get in front?
Yeah, I picked the Thunder every game, so I'm 2 for 4. So, I don't care where it's played. That had nothing to do with it. Obviously, I picked them both times in Indiana. I feel like they've got the better team, but that's why they play the games.
Well, they're back home. Maybe the role players will go off. We've seen role players come up big in this series, but you never know which one, when, where, how, what's going to happen.
Well, the role players that I'm interested in order for OKC to win, right now I think their role players have an opportunity to be better than that as they progress in their NBA careers. It's Williams and Holmgren. Those two guys, I still put them in a role player category, but they're high-level role players, obviously. And I think SGA will continue to do. He seems so smooth and so slithery and it gets the line a ton. It reminds me of James Harden in that way a little bit when Harden was younger. And with that in mind, he'll do what he does. And if they get great games out of Holmgren and Williams, I think they win. I think it's more about the role players for Indiana. What can they do? Because when they've played really well, that has been a big-time boost because I don't think Indiana has somebody that they can count on night after night, playoff game after playoff game, to be a big-time player. So they need the role players are more critical because SGA can go out and get you 45.
He's had multiple 30-point games.
Because anybody on Indiana. So they really need everybody, whether McConnell in his 15 to 20 minutes, he has to play as well as he can in those minutes. Siakam, the same. Siakam and Halliburton obviously are at the top level on that team. But Miles Turner, I can go down the list. I can just name you guys. So they all need to really do that. When they do that, then they've got a shot.
Jalen Williams' scoring and rebounding totals have been improving every game in this series, and he is capable of going berserk, and he's starting to turn in some pretty strong numbers. So that would suggest that they're in a pretty good place with him. If he's figuring
I think they
it
are.
out.
Yeah, that's why they need those two guys.
Right.
And if you get those three and then get your usual contributions, I think that they're good enough. Whereas Indiana needs very good contributions from
seven,
eight
guys.
Yeah.
Williams' scoring has gone 17, 19, 26, 27. The rebounds have gone 4, 5, 6, 7. So just keep it have more of an impact. He shot it much better in games 3 and 4 than he did 1
And he's
2.
still young enough to be able to grow in his game, no question.
He's 24 years old, and he's in the NBA Finals for the first time. So if he's figuring it out, that's no surprise.
And Holmgren's younger, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
Yeah.
And with the chronological age, but you also have to subtract the year he missed, where he sat the whole year and didn't play.
Well, yeah, he only had 1 year of high school or college, and then he missed the first year.
Right, and he's 23.
Right.
He just turned 23.
Right. So I think, to me, 5 years from now, he'll be better than Williams.
Well, that's awesome news for OKC if they can afford to pay everybody.
I think it will be.
Yeah.
If everybody's on the team, yeah. Yeah, and that's taken nothing away from Williams because his development in this league has been startling. And he would have gone much higher than 12, I think it was, if they would have known that. But credit to the Thunder for taking the pick and having him go. Way to go. Hopefully his younger brother can approximate what he's been able to do. And obviously the younger brother, Cody Williams, playing for the Jazz.
Caruso's coming off another 20-point game. It'll be interesting to see if he can crank it up again. I mean, he's a role guy and expect him to be up and down, but he's had a couple of really good games. And here's a shocker. They've won them.
Yeah, I think Caruso will give you that strong-minded presence. The offense is gravy in a sense. I think he needs to continue to be opportunistic because I don't think they're running any plays for Caruso anytime soon, right?
Mm-hmm.
But get out, get some easy buckets, and do it, putbacks, whatever it might be. And look at him, man. He's another player, on his own, not so much. Put him in here, have him be this junkyard dog, extremely valuable. And that's what I like. I love these guys that find their niche and fit the role that they've been asked to do and then flourish in that role. That's why this is a team game for sure.
He scored 20 points in both wins while shooting 65% from the floor. He shot about 38% and averaged 9.5 points in the losses. So if you're looking for a weather vane for the Oklahoma City team through 4 games in this series, he's been the guy. But Williams keeps getting better. Caruso has a good game. Then the Thunder are in a great spot because SGA seems like you can count on him.
And I think they are. I think they're going to win it.
Other big NBA story I've been talking about is Desmond Bane. Memphis going into rebuild mode. I suppose there's an argument that I don't really buy that they could take those draft picks and flip them and get somebody, but are they really going to get somebody better than Bane? And that's the missing piece. It feels more like this is the start of taking the whole thing apart.
That's what people around the league are anticipating. So I'm sure Memphis is getting all sorts of calls.
The key for them is Morant's got 3 years left on his deal, but he's eligible for a 2-year extension. If they give it to him, they're on the hook for 5 years. We know about the off-court issues. There've also been on-court health issues. That's just a lot of money and a lot of years to guarantee. But if they don't, where does Morant's attitude go? So in a way, it feels like the collective bargaining agreement rears its head again. The fact that now is when they can give him the extension. They either do or they don't. It impacts his attitude, and so it's push the chips to the middle of the table and decide you're all in on him or you're all out on him. And I guess that's why Vegas is issuing odds that you shared earlier this morning, because they expect a deal there too. And people will gamble on anything, including the Grizzlies' next trade or two.
Yeah. My cousin Vinny, we've already been talking on what we're going to do on this.
Oh, yeah?
I got a meeting at 10:02. Yeah, we're gonna Zoom because we need to be face to face. We can't literally be face to face, but he needs to see my facial expression.
Okay.
Because I got retirement to think of.
Bigger trade, Desmond Bane or Rafael Devers?
Well, Devers is a multiple All-Star, so just on the individual level, I think he's a better player than Bane. But he winds his way out of Boston.
And ends up in San Francisco.
And they, man, and my goodness gracious, Buster Posey should be an absolute lock for the Hall of Fame as a player, and then here taking over as an executive. This team is really good.
They're 10 games over 500. They're
Yes.
2 games behind the Dodgers. They've
Yes.
just added Devers. The arrow is up. They're in front of the Padres. They're the toughest division in baseball. And look at them.
In front of the Padres, that's their level of accomplishment now?
Well, it's good that they passed them. They weren't picked to finish in front of them. It's not their end goal. They're ready. I mean, the Giants are all about beating the Dodgers.
I think they're about winning the World Series myself.
That'd be nice.
And this is a great move to put him in there with Chapman being down. When he comes back, those are 2 third basemen, and Devers wanted to play third. He didn't want to DH. He didn't want to take grounders at first and blah, 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 because the Sox signed Bregman out of Houston all those years. So they'd reached an impasse, and they had to do something, and this is what they felt they could do. I would have thought they could have got more for the guy, but they didn't.
At over a $300 million deal, he might not have that much money left on the deal. He's a couple of years into it now, but he's got over $250 million left on the deal, so maybe they just felt good about getting out from under that. I don't know how else they rationalize that. The Mookie Betts comparisons abound.
Yeah, I don't think that's a big deal in baseball.
What?
Worrying about the contracts.
They got the money. They just roll through it. I mean, they're not dealing with the second apron.
I mean, they all got the money.
No.
Market like Boston. Try to get a ticket to their game. I mean, iconic stadium, massive population, generations of interest. It's what they do in the summer. So you've been there. You know what I'm talking about.
I do.
So everybody does.
Everybody. I was surprised when I went there. I thought it'd be more baseball cathedral, but they have the in-game marketing down, and there was always a video on the board, and people were always singing. It felt like a big karaoke night out there.
Sweet Caroline.
On the list.
Right, that's
but
what
there
they
was
do.
something every.
They do that in the 7th inning, 6th inning.
That
Usually
was.
they do
I
that?
think that's in the 7th or 8th. I'm
Yeah.
not positive, but there was something literally every half inning. I mean, it really did catch my attention, and people were up and singing like.
Well, especially in those cold weather cities where you're just stuck inside, literally months at a time. That's the time to get out. And you didn't grow up that way, but I did. It's one of the reasons why I got into baseball is because I could be outside.
Yeah.
And it signaled the arrival of finally maybe having some nice weather.
Yeah.
And
This is the
swimming and all those things that go with it.
This is the coldest environment that I've lived in, so it's given me a taste of it. But I work with somebody from the Midwest for a long time, and they are always like, "You don't know. Do Milwaukee and get back to me."
Well,
like a Milwaukee winter.
You say this is the coldest environment. For me, this is actually the warmest environment I've ever lived in.
No, you lived in Arizona.
No. Well, let's see. That's the hottest.
Okay. Now you're talking. All right, so there's some of the big news. Oh, wait. What about that U.S. Open thing? That was kind of big news this weekend.
JJ, don't call me Warren Spahn.
Hey,
Yeah.
for all you college walk-ons out there, anything is possible. Wow. San Dimas. Now, that's not right next door to Pedro, so I don't know that you ever went to San Dimas.
No, but I worked with guys
who were from there.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Brian Patterson, who is the prep editor of the Orange County Register.
He probably wandered around San Dimas at some point.
A big sand. Oh, yeah, but
yeah.
That's where he played high school golf and then went on to San Diego State as a walk-on and then made his mark on the tour and grind.
Made his mark on multiple small tours.
Yeah.
Smaller tours.
Well, I mean, he had the playoff with Rory and the players here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he made a mark.
Yes.
On the PGA Tour. Now he's made a huge mark.
He said, I looked it up yesterday.
But the guys knew who he was. He's not coming out of nowhere for them.
I'd have to go back. Maybe it was 4 top 10s this year.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not nobody.
33
but
years
nonetheless, to get here at 33, it's been a lot of hard work and heavy lifting.
Yeah, I think it is for everybody, but especially him. I read a thing where his mother was the golf advocate, and she got doctor's permission to be able to golf while she was like 8 months pregnant with him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And you got to have somebody who's going to introduce you to it. You just probably don't decide on your own. And he had that. And I love the story that he told. Scottsdale resident Max Homa lives in the same area as he does in Scottsdale. And Tiger told Max, when you get in these tournaments, it is all about grinding. And we know he spawned 5 of the first 6 bogeys, and he'd had the lead earlier and just stay within yourself. He kept saying, don't do anything crazy. And he made a couple of putts that were crazy, but he felt like, this is what I needed. This is my focus. And so Tiger tells Max, because he's a neighbor of JJ, tells him, and he's thinking about that Sunday during this round, and that's helping him keep his focus. And it's really just an awesome story.
There were so many guys in that tournament, and the back nine, back to Tiger's point, where guys are 20, 30 yards off the green, but they're in that rough, and man, they just take a full swing, and the ball goes like 8 yards, and they're still in the rough.
Yeah.
There are 3 or 4 guys who took bogeys or double bogeys because of that, and that opened the door. He's hitting fairways and greens and making birdie putts, and they're backing up.
And that was his mindset. And then he drove, it was on 17, he drives it and makes birdie, has an eagle putt. So he needed to grip it and rip it on that one, and he did. And that put him in the position to calm his nerves even more so. And it seemed like he was very calm throughout. The bogeys didn't didn't bother him. Rattle was the word I'm looking for. Didn't rattle him, and he stayed the course, no pun intended. And I didn't mean that. But that's what you need to do. You need to have that singular focus, and he did. It's awesome.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. Stay with us. Your feedback next.
And it's all over almost here.
Don't go nowhere.
Business owners, gather around the radio. I got great news for you. Do you want growth in your business? Of course you do. Well, I've got just the way for you to do it. Let me help you. I want to endorse your product. Absolutely. All you got to do is text PK to 57500, and our sales staff will take care of the rest. Here's what you do. Let's get together, me and you. Let's have a relationship. Text PK to 57500, and the money will flow unto you. I promise.
DJ and PK, it's time for your feedback. Memphis got 4 first-round picks, a pick swap, and 2 rotational players in trading Desmond Bain to Orlando. What can the Jazz get for Lauri Markkanen? We heard from a Mavericks fan. How about that?
Cooper Flagg?
Brandon. I thought I was done being pissed at Nico, but this just opened that wound again.
Oh, for the Doncic thing?
Desmond Bain brought a lot more than Doncic, and that bugs him. Yeah, I get that. Brian says, if they don't get a star in return, then why pull the trigger?
Who's they? The Jazz?
Yeah. If they're going to trade Markkanen and get a star in return, or why make the deal? He doesn't want to get younger. Scott, they'll probably get nothing. The Jazz will want to be greedy, but potential trading partners, knowing the Jazz want to go young and try their luck in the lottery again, won't be willing to give up as much value as the Jazz demand, and no trade will happen. He thinks Markkanen is here.
It could happen, yeah. But did Oklahoma City Thunder fans rejoice when they gave up Paul George for SGA?
No.
Are they rejoicing now?
Yes.
There you go.
They are 2 games away from some serious rejoicement.
And you can argue they're just getting started.
They are young enough that could be very true.
Right.
Nate says, we've had some really stupid trades lately. Why can't the Jazz ever be on the good side of one?
It's never going to happen, ever.
Okay, just take their hope away, PK.
Well, they're taking it away themselves. Come on.
BB Gun 42, stop trading our players for picks we'll never use to get better. The fans are tired of sucking so bad. That's 5 O's. Is there any way we can get the Millers to buy the Jazz back and get us in the playoffs? No, there's not. This is the path forward. There'll be no going back.
So they don't really – well, they have playoff series in soccer. Who will win one next? RSL or the Jazz?
Who wins in the postseason next? Interesting.
Yeah.
There's a decent chance that it's none of above for a little while, but we'll see. Soccer
next
changes.
is next, whenever next comes.
Yeah, soccer can change really fast.
Yeah,
too,
and talking to Pablo, I'm going to write about this, that they're super excited to have the Millers have the team. Mm-hmm. And the Millers, Steve Miller, I went back and looked, he's talking about the stability that we can bring based on all the evidence that I can show you about stability. And now, all of a sudden, the team right now is still a transitional year, but it looks like they believe they'll have a better future because of this.
it looks like they have some pieces of the puzzle, but they have such a glaring hole. And if you fill that one glaring hole, then maybe things change really quickly. So, and there is in this league, teams go up and down. There's a team that was above RSL last year and won it all that's now in last place in the LA Galaxy. So certainly this, this happens. I just saw a crime committed against golf right over your shoulder, Rachel.
You think he swung and missed?
He definitely swung and missed.
Well, it's a chip shot. Those can be dangerous.
Took a massive divot that I could see from here. I got to give him credit, though. He repaired his divot, which a lot of people don't.
You sure because then he just hit a good shot. That's actually
he did hit a good shot.
That's actually cheating. You don't get 2 shots.
Yeah, that's
because if you swing and miss, if you intend to hit the ball and you don't, that counts as a swing.
I thought it was a swing and a miss. So
I did too.
That's what I thought. You know what? Rachel's not going to turn around. She's not interested in crimes committed against golf. As long as awareness is created and funds are raised and the mission moves forward.
I'm focused on the mission.
What does a divot between friends really mean?
The title of her book, I thought she wrote a golf book. What's the title of your book?
Chasing the Impossible.
There you go.
Yeah. So how did you write this golf book? Why did you?
Not a golf book. But for some people, golfing is chasing the impossible.
That's what I'm saying.
I think pretty much for everybody. Or maybe you didn't see Rory McIlroy throwing clubs yesterday.
No, I didn't.
Beating up a tee box. Well, you would have looked at him and thought, that can't be good. It wasn't. If you accomplish 1 or 2 things today, is awareness the number one thing? Because with awareness, then a lot of stuff that you need can probably flow from that.
Absolutely. I think awareness is an important thing. Raising funds is
always
number
critical.
2, always important. And really what I hope is that we get more involvement next year. Mm-hmm. And so as people learn about the great time that we're having here at Thanksgiving Point, they learn about our cause and our mission, that they get involved. I was an individual 12 years ago that was asked to be part of the Kids on the Move board. That's how I became introduced to Kids on the Move. And maybe similar to a lot of the listeners, I didn't have a direct connection with children with special needs. I didn't even have any nieces or nephews that had special needs. So when I was invited, I thought to myself, I don't know if I can contribute. I don't know if I could add value to this organization, but I decided to get involved. And that's really my rally cry to all the listeners is you may not have a direct correlation with someone that has special needs or someone in your family, even though the likelihood that you know someone or there's a friend or family member is a high probability. This is a cause that we should all be engaged in and support these families that have children with special needs.
I put awareness over money because I think if you get the awareness, the money follows.
I agree.
If you get the awareness, if people know the stories, PK always talks about, we're in sports, we really love the stories. The stories are, the guy who won the U.S. Open, what a great story. As a college walk-on. Nobody wanted to give him a college scholarship, but now he's won the U.S. Open. And he had to play on 3 tours to get there. And you look at what some of these families and some of these kids are going through, and you think, well, if they get help, they can get an education. If they get an education, they get a job, be self-supporting. But if they don't get that help and they don't get that education, then where does it go? And I think when people dig down and realize the story and have that awareness, then they want to start to help in whatever way they can.
Absolutely. And when you think about those parents that, they come back, and one of the questions I asked when I was interviewing, I interviewed over 23 families and about 90 minutes for each family, and I would ask them, what was the first feelings that you had when you realized that your child had a disability or a delay? And a lot of them grieved for a couple of days or longer, and really had to come to terms with, what does this mean? There's just so many unknowns that they didn't know what their child, would be able to do. One father said, I thought my son was going to be able to play ball with me, and now I don't know what to look forward to in the future because it was unknown. And one of the things I love about Chasing the Impossible, the book that I wrote, is it gives hope to families. They can see a child make progression, and they can see the hope in other parents that have gone before them. And as a community, we can see how we can support and how we can help. And one parent commented, it's not that they're not going to have a future, it's just going to be different than what the future I had planned for them. Yeah. But they can still have an amazing future.
So people want to get involved and they're not at the golf tournament today. Obviously, they're listening to us on the radio. What should they do?
They should come to our website, kotm.org, or at KOTM_Utah is our Instagram page, or you can come to our Facebook page as well. But learn more about Kids on the Move and how to donate, how to get involved. And we have over 3,500 volunteers that come and volunteer. Come volunteer. Involve your children. Participate in the many different activities and events that we have, and come see what we're all about.
All right. KOTM.org. KOTM.org. Thanks for having us out here today. We appreciate it, Rachel.
Thank you for having me. Thanks.
All right. KOTM.org. Learn more about Kids on the Move. We're out of time. Jake and Ben are coming up next right here on The Zone.